Right, let's do it. Let's review this, the Animorphs Game Boy Color game. I recently did a playthrough. I'm not sure if you watched it, but if you haven't, go find it. It was a 5-part playthrough. There were 5 missions in this game. And if you go watch speedruns on YouTube, people can do this in an hour, just less than an hour. It's not a very big game. It took me quite a long time because I'm crap at games. But I wasn't helped by this. This Game Boy Color game came out in the very late 90s, I believe. In fact, let's have a look since I've got a date on it. Ah, no, it came out in the year 2000, so at the turn of the century. And it's very much based on Pokemon. More so than Animorphs, you'll probably find. It's a very cheap rip-off of Pokemon games, the early Pokemon games. So you're looking down, you move left, right, up, down, and you find animals and you battle them with 4 moves, some of which make you harder to hit, some of them which hit your opponent, some of them are super effective. It is essentially a Pokemon game rip-off without the fun. There is no sense to how this game works in a lot of ways. The battles, for example, sometimes you end up in loops where the battle never ends because you just can't hit something and it doesn't hit you. So you're constantly jabbing your way through it, hitting that button, and the battle just never ends. Granted, that didn't happen to me in my latest playthrough of it, but the first time I attempted the game, that happened, I believe, on a couple of occasions where the battle just doesn't end because nobody gets those blows in. And there doesn't seem to be any sense as to what causes more damage than other things. I lost, for example, against a seagull as a walrus. Now, in what world does a seagull defeat a walrus? I don't know. And the morphs themselves, the best morph in the game is the dog, the very first one you bloody start with. It actually is quite reliable when it comes to causing damage. The worst morphs in the game, from my experience, were the cheetah and the grizzly bear. The grizzly bear was bloody useless. And I don't understand how it was so goddamn useless. It was trash. I would much rather have the dog morph on my team. And speaking of crap morphs, how does the morph mechanic work in this game? In the book series, once you had a morph, you had that morph. It was yours. You could use it whenever. But in this one, you go into a battle as a morph, you lose the battle, and that morph is now gone. And you automatically change to the next morph and fight as that one. And if that one loses, that morph is gone from your repertoire as well. This isn't Animorphs. It's not. They just saw the popularity of Pokemon, saw the popularity of Animorphs and said, this is the ultimate cash grab. Smash the two together and wallop, there's your money maker. Unfortunately for them, I think they underestimated gamers of the time because they probably wanted a quality game. This is a problem with a lot of games that are based on like TV shows or books or whatever, or movies. They are cash grabs, and this is a great example of one. The plot is never really explained. It's just you're just told, get these 4 processors and then win against the Yerks. That's it. That's your plot. In fact, well, actually, no, in the first mission, the Cassie mission, your mission is to save the animals. And then you find the processor at the end. I don't know what these processors do. It's not really explained. There is no plot to this. Why would they bother? They've got the mechanics completely wrong, so if you're going to try to fit an actual Animorphs plot into it, you're going to struggle. So they obviously just didn't. And the worst part of this game is the tunnel. You get to these parts in this game, there's one per mission where you zoom into another different game style. Like, for example, there was the mole, where you're jumping over rocks and you got to get to the end. It was fucking awful. Absolutely awful. The mole one was by far the worst. It's almost impossible at times, because the jump mechanic is just bizarre. And the way that everything moves, sometimes it's actually impossible to get past things. It's rubbish, absolute rubbish and infuriating. And the fact that you've got to enter a password, it's like 16 digit password you've got to enter. What other game uses that? I mean, I could be wrong, there could be loads, but I've never had one that has that sort of mechanic. Why does this one have it? It's awful, absolutely awful. You get to the end of the game, and the Andalites say, "Well done, Animorphs, you've helped to defeat the Urks," which is completely not what the Andalites would have said. The music is atrocious. I mean, let's think of positives for this game. Let's think of positives. I mean, the box looks alright. And there's your positives. So, without doubt, this is one of the worst games I've ever played. It's disgusting in how bad it is, but I feel like I've achieved something having completed it. I've gone through the arduous task of playing this nightmare and gotten to the end, and now I'd never have to play it again. Now, what I do with books is when they disgust me is I throw them on the floor, but since you're a game box and quite relatively good quality, I'm just going to place you on the floor. So it's on the floor now. I've also got like a little... I can throw this on the floor because it's just like a little game cartridge that's separate from the box, so you can go fly on the floor. Yeah, absolutely atrocious. There are other games. So, for example, we've got Know the Secret. You've also got Shattered Reality on the PlayStation 1. At the moment, I've got no way of being able to record this. I can play it on my computer, but it doesn't register in OBS. I'm getting a second screen soon for my computer, so that might actually help. So maybe at the start of next year, I'll be able to play one of these games, and I imagine it will be better. It can't be much worse. But the problem with a lot of Animorphs merchandise, in fact, I'd say all of the Animorphs merchandise that we got, it was all cash grab material. All of it. The only thing that isn't is stuff like this that we actually got recently. So David Mattingly with these, and Romus Koukalis has released stuff like that as well. Good quality stuff. And you can still go buy those as well. So yeah, if you can find them, snap them up, because we don't get much good Animorphs merch. And speaking of good recent merch, I've just gotten this. Remember, we've got the graphic novel. So we are actually 20 years down the line starting to get decent Animorphs. Does this count as merch? Sort of, because it's not an official book. Does this count as merch? Either way, it's great, and I'm going to review that soon as well. So that's the Game Boy Color game. Absolute trash. And I don't know, maybe I'll do a compilation of as I'm getting angry at it. There's little more else I can say on it, honestly. So thank you very much for watching. This has been a review of the Game Boy Color game. This has been the Animorphs Reviews YouTube channel, and I shall see you next time. Ta-ra.